Trust me, I know, I'm an attorney. And also as an attorney, I have to tell you, this is for informational purposes only, and this is not to give any legal advice because I don't want you to sue me.
Is that why you're dressed like a street gangster from the mid-'80s? So
Yes.
people won't take you seriously?
Yes, and I'm ready to go into some sort of break dancing battle.
You're not cutting that part out.
Hi, this is Nam from Easy Sunday Club.
And it's Cathy behind the camera.
And today we're going to talk about what permits and licenses do you need to start your art business.
Super exciting stuff.
Yes, super exciting. The reason why it's exciting is because artists, sometimes when they are starting out their businesses, they think about what business entity they need to form, maybe a LLC or a corporation. But another thing they need to think about is what licenses and permits do they need to operate. Now, for a small business like an art business, you don't need as many permits and licenses as, let's say, a restaurant business, but you do need some basic licenses and permits in order to get started. So I just want to go through a quick overview from our PowerPoint slide, and we'll go from there. So we're going to do a quick intro, and then after that we're going to go through the common things that you need, which are a business license, a seller/tax permit, a tax ID number, and a DBA/fictitious business name filing. So intro. In the beginning, if you're just starting out and you're not sure whether or not you want to have an art business and you barely have time anyway just to do your art, just go ahead and just focus on your art. All this extra filings might cause you anxiety, paralysis, or stress, so don't even worry about it. Just focus on your art, continuing to work on your craft and your audience and the marketing of your art. After a while, if you're getting pretty good commission sales or sales of your prints and you want to take it to the next level, then you definitely want to look into certain permits and licenses, as well as forming a business entity, which is another business video that we made that you can click on here somewhere or in our info of the video below. Do you need an attorney for these licenses and filings? No, you don't. You can do it yourself. And not only can you do it yourself, you can delegate it to a minion, or you can have maybe your accountant do it, or you can even go to LegalZoom or one of those sites that can walk you through it. But for the most part, this is something anyone can do, and you don't need to hire an over-expensive attorney to do this for you. So I'm going to go through the common licenses or permits that you need, and I'm going to give you a definition of what it is, where to file it, and how much it costs. First thing you need is just a general business license. The purpose of a business license is to give you a license to operate your business and to identify your business in the jurisdiction that you're operating in. Jurisdiction can mean different things. It can be your state, the county, or the city that you are operating your business in. Because the jurisdiction issue is kind of confusing depending on city, county, state requirements, you have to Google your city, your state, and your county under the key search words business license and your state. For example, we live in California, in the county of Los Angeles, in the city of Los Angeles. So we would use those combinations of Google search words to see what the business requirements are. For purposes of showing you an example, here are the filing requirements for the jurisdiction that we live in for a business license. How much does it cost? Well, it usually costs around $100. Can be a little bit more, can be a little bit less. But one thing to watch out for is that you might have ongoing costs for each year that you operate the business. So just watch out for that. Cool thing is that with any business expense such as this, depending on what entity you have, you can go ahead and write it off. The next thing you need is a seller's permit, depending if you're selling something. So if you're selling any artwork or any prints or cards, you need a permit in order to collect sales tax, charge sales tax, and then it'll allow you to pay that sales tax to the jurisdiction that you're selling in at the end of the year. There are a couple exceptions depending if your state doesn't have any sales tax. So we used to live in Oregon and we didn't have to pay any sales tax, so we didn't need a sales permit. So it was pretty simple with that. But in California, or when we went to Washington, then we needed to apply for a sales tax permit in order to collect sales tax. How do I get it? Again, look up the jurisdiction of where you're selling, city, state, county, depending on where you live and where you're selling, to see what the requirements are for that permit. But definitely something you should look up in Google and search for. How much does it cost? $0, because they want you to charge the sales tax and collect it. They're not gonna be charging you in order to get this permit and disincentivize you from trying to get this permit. The next thing you need, and pretty important, is a tax ID. And you need it on two different levels. You need one on the federal level, and you also need it on the state level. And the reason why you need this is that it identifies your business for tax purposes. So all humans and individuals have their social security number. The federal and state tax ID is a social security number for your business. If you are a sole proprietorship, it'll be your social security number. But if on the federal level, it'll be an employer identification number. The way that you get the federal one is going to our friends at the IRS. And for the state one, then you have to go look at the state tax, or sometimes it's called the revenue department or board. So depending on what state you need. In California, it's called the California State Franchise Board. So that's who we deal with. How much does it cost? Again, $0. They want to incentivize people to open up small businesses. So go ahead and apply. Pretty simple. And you get the number, and then you're going to maybe want to memorize that number, because you're going to have to pull up that information again and again whenever you file or apply for anything. The last thing you may need is a fictitious business name or doing business as statement. For short, doing business as stands for DBA. What is it? It's a required filing when your business name does not include the surname of individual owners and partners. So if you have a plumbing company and it's called John Smith Plumbing, then you do not need a fictitious business name or a DBA statement. However, if you're doing Elite Plumbing and the name John Smith, who you are, is not in there at all, then you do need some sort of DBA or fictitious business name statement so that the authorities can identify you in case you're doing anything shady or wrong. How do I get it? You can usually get this from your Secretary of State or county or city's recorder or clerk. Again, depending on where you live, you have your jurisdiction, different filing requirements. How much does it usually cost? Around $50, more or less around that cost. Again, all of these things are housekeeping, administrative things, but definitely things you should keep in mind as you set up your business and if you want to make it all legal and legit. So after you get all these things together, you really don't have to worry about it on an ongoing business, and you can go back to focusing on your art and building your business. Thank you for joining us again. If you want to support us, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Feel free to give us any comments or ask us any questions. We'll do our best to answer. And thank you for joining us.
Thank you for watching.